Well, hello, my friends. I'm sitting in my big comfy chair listening to an album Kevin got me for Christmas. I think it was Christmas. John Hyatt live from Austin, Texas. As I sip a wine that someone suggested I try called the Pappy Reserve. Pappy's known for making like scotches and stuff. People love that. I remember being at a charity event, seeing a wagon full of Pappy go for, I thought it went for $6,000 for fucking booze. But hey man, each their own. But this is a pretty good wine. I would highly recommend it. Pappy Reserve, and I think pretty reasonable. I think you're talking under $15. I've been writing a lot of treatment plans. Let me tell you something. I think everybody, as you get older, you got to try something new. Got to stretch those brain muscles a little bit, because you can. You can still learn. You can still do stuff. And I did not do well in the first one, so I poured myself into the second one, and then there was an extra credit where you had to do one about yourself, a treatment plan, right? And they gave you the diagnosis, adjustment disorder, and then you could put the specifiers on there, like adjustment disorder with anxiety, adjustment disorder with depressive mood, or anxiety and depressive mood, whatever. You get the picture. And then you have to write out this whole thing in terms of what the objectives are to get better with a goal, the objectives to support the goal. It's a process, and I'm getting it. But I didn't see that the extra credit was due in by 3 o'clock today, and I got it in at about 11:45. I think right now it's like 12:15 in the morning. Ugh. So that's what I've been doing, and I thought it'd be fun to go back and take another listen to a recent episode. It's the episode when Geoffrey Rogers came in on January 7th, 2026. And I've been thinking from time to time a lot about Geoffrey Rogers, and I thought a lot more after he left the studio. And I'll just say, in my opinion, Geoffrey isn't about the journalism as much as he is about the attention he gets from it. He could be pretty good at it, and has done some really recognizable things. I will say he has suffered at his own hand and suffered at his craft. Maybe I should rephrase that. He's been punished by his own hand, and he's been punished by his chosen craft, GSL News and journalism. And I don't agree with some of the decisions he made and things he did, and you'll hear that in this episode. But the fact that the guy takes a stance for what he believes is journalistic integrity, I think that, and then honestly suffered physically because of that. I can kind of, what's the term people go? I respect you. That's right. I do respect that. I hold it in high regard. All right. It's a pretty good quality to have when you can kind of take a stand on something and not be swayed in the wind by people's opinions. However, I don't line up with it. I don't know that we'll ever have Geoffrey necessarily back. He was in that waffle state where he was going to go into construction. He's doing these Instagram lives. Well, it was shortly after we did this podcast. And again, it just goes back to, it's more about the attention. It's more about the image, in my opinion, which by definition is halfway between fact and fiction. You hear me say that till you're ready to throw up. But it is, and I think it's more about the attention than it is about the journalism with Geoffrey. I don't know that I'll have him back on the podcast. I don't know that I won't, but I'm not really leaning toward grabbing him anytime soon. But this is an interesting conversation, and we learn different things, and I do push back somewhat on Geoffrey to try to hold him to some things. It's interesting. I think it is definitely worth another listen as you head into the weekend or wherever you're going. And just know this, I love you for sitting down and taking the time to check out what we're doing over here at Billified and Bill Moran Productions. So we will get into Geoffrey Rogers right after this. This Poppy Reserve Cabernet, pretty damn good.
Ever look at your wall and think, that hole definitely wasn't there yesterday? Or maybe your faucet's got a drip that's slowly driving you into madness. That's when you got to call my buddies at Mac of All Trades, because it's your home. And if you don't have the skills to fix it yourself, go to the people who do. And trust me, there's nobody better than Mac of All Trades. They do everything. Leaky faucet, they got it. Drafty windows and doors, done. Electrical, plumbing, carpentry, sure. Full kitchen or bath remodel, oh yeah, they'll do that too. From patching the hole that someone made by definitely not slamming the door to transforming your entire space. Mac of All Trades gets it done quickly and the right way. Stop putting up with cold drafts and half-finished to-do lists. Give them a call at 585-202-9218 or find them online at macofalltrades.net. Get started on that to-do list today. Mac of All Trades. No job too small. If the new year has you saying, I did not sign up for this, like a workers' comp case, Social Security disability, or a personal injury claim, don't try to Google lawyer your way through it. Go to Connors and Ferris. They have offices in Buffalo, New York City, Syracuse, and Rochester, and they'll get back to you within 24 hours. Yeah, so even when you're stress scrolling at 2 a.m., you can call 262-COMP, tell them a little bit about what's going on in your life, and within 24 hours, one of their attorneys will get back to you. You'll talk to real lawyers who will explain things in plain English, not legal mumbo-jumbo. Workers' comp, Social Security disability, personal injury, complicated? Absolutely. Something you should handle alone? Nope. Connors and Ferris. Experienced, responsive, and committed to serving you better. Call 262-COMP. Help's available right now.
When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thank you for getting your pot on. Thank you for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Now, to say I'm a little frustrated is an understatement, but there's a very handsome gentleman who I haven't seen in a while, and he looks like he's put on some muscle. Is that possible? Is that possible?
Yeah, welcome in.
It's Geoffrey Rogers from GSL News.
The one and only.
I know. And now we're supposed to start this at 1 o'clock. We're taping it at 2. Geoffrey, what the fuck is going on? Huh? I heard a CPT, baby, I know it's a real thing now.
Okay, look, it's been chaotic. It's been really chaotic.
You gotta let me fucking know. You can't,
Listen,
I got shit going on all day.
Okay, look, I can explain. It was a lot going on, and I have about 2 drivers.
Okay.
So the traffic, I don't know what's going on, but
I should have warned you because it goes down to 1 lane because they're fixing the bridge.
And then the traffic downtown, they're doing construction everywhere. Yeah. So it's like now I have to really fix the scheduling, because if I didn't know traffic was going to be this bad, then I'm like, okay.
Let me just say this to you. Much love to you.
I'm glad to be back.
I appreciate you taking the time, and I mean that.
This is important for me.
It's important for me as well, because I think we have a lot of things to discuss. A lot of things that I am an old man now. You understand me?
I see all the gray hair. You got way more gray hair than I seen the last time.
That's right. Okay. Because I was stressed about you being in the joint. And I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you.
No, we got a lot to talk about.
I know we do have a lot to talk about. But So I'm going to say some things that I don't think you're going to necessarily agree with, but it's going to be advice, and you take it as advice. Fine. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with what I believe was leading up to you being put back in the lockup. And you tell me.
You want me to put my personal opinions out there?
I'm going to say some stuff, and then I want you to tell me where I'm wrong or what's going on. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So you are a local citizen journalist, and you have done such a good job that CNN and other network news have reached out to you for your footage.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like I said, the bigger stories is what I'm known for, especially like the terrorist attacks and the protests, just major events here in Rochester, New York. That's what I'm mainly for. And I've actually...
Go ahead.
And I've actually...
what are you doing?
I'm just getting some, I got to get everything on video here. But I actually was also known for covering the district attorney, who I was actually one of the first reporters to actually initiate the reporting on that with the body cam footage and then reaching out to other mainstream medias. So
it's your fault that Sandra Dorley, who I have said on the body cam footage, I thought she looked hot. And your body cam footage isn't kind to anybody. Whatever plastic surgery she had done, she looked hot.
Well,
but it was
wait. The plastic surgery. I didn't know she got plastic surgery.
Yeah, she had what I'm going to tell you.
Well, she's making all that, taxpayers' dollars.
She got a deep neck contour.
And is that public record?
No, but I think she was on I'm going to say it's public record in the fact that I think she did an advertisement for Quatella, who did the surgery. Yeah. I think she did a before and after billboard. So, I don't think it was a secret. But I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know. Okay. I noticed that she. But let me just say this, because I heard you take a shot there at her. Yeah. On taxpayer dollars. It's not on taxpayer dollars. I don't like when people say that's my tax dollars. You don't know what your tax dollars go to, and neither do I.
I wasn't saying that. I was just saying
you just said taxpayer dollars, motherfucker. I heard you.
I was just saying she's making all the money from the taxpayers.
But she's the district attorney. Yeah, she's on your behalf. She's working. She went to law school.
Former district attorney now.
Former district attorney. I understand. All right. But Geoffrey, let's get back to Geoffrey, because I think you have a very interesting story. So the way I saw it happening, Geoffrey, was there was that horrible incident that happened at Maplewood Park during a community barbecue. Let me go back for a second. I want to say this. I think what you do as GSL News is I think you highlight a community that isn't highlighted and should be. I think that sometimes bad, but there's a lot of good, I believe, that goes completely unnoticed and unrecognized, at least in what we would call mainstream. Fair?
Yeah.
I really think that.
Yeah.
And I think that there are times, I know you're doing something that's going to come out on GSL News when you're ready, but an interview with a local rapper who's got an album coming out.
So that's coming out. That's coming out January 10th with.
But this is a kid who's put a lot of hustle into making his music. Who's put a lot of time into that effort. Has written, has done. I love that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that stuff is getting highlighted in our mainstream news.
Right.
And I think it should be.
I was actually having a conversation yesterday, and the conversation was local news is kind of dying. And that's just happening across the country because now you have the mainstream media.
Well, nobody's watching.
Right, nobody's watching.
And the reason nobody's watching is everything's on demand.
Right.
I get the push notifications, and I turn on, I'll go to the news. It's just, I can get it on X. I can get it on Facebook. I can get it on whatever, name it.
That's where I come in. I think when I was in prison, the community kind of missed that on-demand, straight on spot news. And that was just with everything. That wasn't just with crime that I was covering. That was with everything.
Well, see, I want to highlight that. I want to highlight that what grabs headlines, and always in news the saying was, if it bleeds, it leads.
Right.
So all we get is tragedy, 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 negativity. What I did find with GSL News was there were times things were being highlighted. Right. Cuts for kids that were being done at barbershops, back-to-school packs that were given away to support children in the city school district. Those are things that need to be highlighted. And sometimes they are in mainstream media when it's a slow news day. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What it is,
and that's shitty, in my opinion.
And that's sad because, like, especially when, I'm out there reporting news. Like, I could be at a shooting, and I'd be like, you know what? I have to get to this other event. The kids they're having a giveaway for the kids. So my schedule is, when I was out there reporting, is full, not only with this crime, but the community events, because you kind of got to saturate it. The community is like, this news is what builds a community. And that's what people understand.
I agree with that. And I would say this. I think that what we hear about often, because if it leads, it bleeds, and that seems to be the philosophy or the statement that most follow.
Yeah.
I would say that we hear about the negativity. And I have talked to law enforcement, and it's a very small percentage within the community that we are talking about.
Right.
In the city of Rochester or any urban setting, it's a small percentage of the people that are doing the crime.
That is true.
That is true. Okay.
Yes.
So because of that, but we highlight that and we focus on that. And all that does is spread fear and negativity, and people miss out on opportunities.
Right.
I believe.
And
so I don't know what you see your job as, but to me, I think you need to start doing like a good news story every newscast that highlights something positive in your community with people of your skin tone. Seriously.
So this is what so I was doing this already, but it wasn't like every day, but it was like I try to do at least 4 positive stories a week.
Okay.
And I know that I make impact in people's lives, with people's businesses, because at one point last year, I actually decided to bring in this new category with GSO News to highlight small businesses in the city of Rochester. And then I kind of expanded out to larger areas like Penfield and Webster, and just started going out and highlighting the small businesses. I actually had one lady, the Brooks Landing Diner. I did a story. One day I just woke up and randomly was like, I'm going to just pick this place to just do a small business highlight. The line was out the door the next day.
Good.
And so if I'm able to make an impact like that, just imagine if I had more backing behind me of how much impact I can make in the community.
I agree.
And I know I'm making a big impact.
Okay. So let's stick with that idea right there. And let's go with the positive mindset. I want to go back to the Maplewood Park where the shootout left 2 women dead.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Left 2 women dead, and you were there. 5 were injured. Tragedy, really tragic. Again, I'm going to say small percentage of people are committing are causing the problems in anywhere. Right? Yeah. It's always a bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah.
Okay. So they started doing CPR on one of the women, and you started recording, and you posted the video of one of the women receiving CPR.
Yes.
Partially blurring the image, but not completely.
Right.
It was widely viewed, and I believe the victim's family members asked you to take it down.
Yes.
And this is where you and I are going to differ, okay? So you did not take it down.
No, I didn't.
I know.
It's still up to this day.
Okay.
And I'm not going to.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you, we'll discuss. We'll discuss.
Yes, I'm ready to go all in about this topic.
All right. Hang on.
Okay.
So then you went to, they had a balloon release memorial service for the woman who died.
Yes.
You show up.
I do, along with all the news stations in the city of Rochester.
Okay, that's fine. But you showed up. Now, the other news stations didn't show the video. I don't even know that
they're not going to. They're not going to show me getting attacked. And
no, not you getting attacked.
Or they're not going to show what?
The CPR.
Oh yeah, because that was my video.
All right.
I was so.
But I'm just saying.
Can I do a breakdown of what actually from my point of view or no?
Yeah, of course you can. But let me walk through this. Let me just walk through this, because this is. I'm just telling you what I understand of the situation, so you know where my perspective is, and then I will absolutely give you the microphone to say whatever you want. There's no censorship. So, but you show up, and they kick the shit out of you. I mean, they beat the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah, sliced in my neck and everything.
So is this scar on your cheek from that?
No, that's from prison. Yeah. So I actually got sliced in the face in prison.
All right, I don't mean to laugh at that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's something to laugh at now.
Yeah. Okay. Look,
I'm here. So
yeah. All right. So listen. So now, I heard broken bones.
No broken bones. Thankfully.
Mom said broken bones.
So there was no broken bones. There was a lot of hits to the ribs, though. My ribs was hurting for a few weeks.
And some gentleman stepped in and kind of got you out of there.
Yeah, so 2 gentlemen, Assemblyman Damon Meeks, and then Richard Grayface. He's known as Richard Grayface in the city of Rochester. He has a company where he makes, things in the community and stuff.
Right. Now, you get beat up, and then it feels like after that, you're highlighted, right? You're getting a lot of social media attention. You're controversial, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
Especially because of this situation, both in your community and outside the community.
Yeah.
And people are like aware of where you are, and I feel like that's when you were found to be in violation of parole and probation, and brought back in. Probation and brought back in to court. And I feel like the incident at Maplewood Park sort of set off the dynamite for you to end up back in jail. Is that true?
So that wasn't true, actually. So I was actually,
all right.
So I was actually, there was a warrant out for my arrest already as I was covering news stories.
Okay, but they couldn't find you.
They couldn't find me because I let the ankle monitor die. So I'm going to just tell the truth,
Jesus.
So I'm going to just tell the truth.
All right, hang on a second. I want to know, what is the crime in Erie County that you committed?
So I'm going to go all in. So basically the crime that I committed was, they said it was a robbery. It wasn't a robbery. Let me just clear the air, because everybody says, well, he was in prison and he did a robbery. No. So I went into Walmart around 10:15 p.m. That's what the police report says. I went in around 10:15 p.m. because I was already working in Buffalo. I cover news in Buffalo as well. So I wanted, Nintendo Switch games. At the time, I couldn't afford it, and it wasn't in, my budget. So, I decided there was a lot of people who were getting away with smash and grabs, and it looks like they wasn't really prosecuting people. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go in Walmart, steal video games, got in, broke the glass of the display, and took the video games. 3 months later, detectives then come looking for me and telling me, we want to talk to you about a robbery. And I'm like, robbery? And
but you did commit a robbery.
Well,
don't give me
it's not a robbery, honestly. That's how I look at it. I don't think it was a robbery, because robbery is like,
fuck do you not think it's a robbery? By definition.
A robbery is like, everybody get on the ground. Like,
no, that is not a robbery.
Okay, well,
that is not a robbery.
It is what it is.
That's armed robbery, and that's like threatening people.
So, okay,
but a robbery, it's a robbery. And by the way, smash and grab. You fucking broke the glass.
I did.
Okay.
And you know what's crazy? I still have the video game.
Why would you, who already knows the cost of being in front of judges and covering the news, want to do that?
I think it was
what was it computing in your brain?
That was a bad impulsive decision. That was very impulsive.
Yeah,
that was
get some Adderall. Stop that impulsive shit, man.
Listen, that was very impulsive and inappropriate. I don't know what just decided to go my.
All right, so then it was just a kind of a bad luck situation for you in that you got jumped at Maplewood Park. You got beat up.
So
by the way, it looked like a lot of ladies kicked the shit out of you.
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't want to mess with those ladies.
All I could see was the grass. Basically, that's all I could see was the grass and curb and sidewalk.
Could you? Yeah.
So basically, that day, you want me to go into detail?
Go ahead. Give me the thing. Your perspective on the video. And I know you've said
I haven't seen the video.
No, not the video. You getting beat up. I want your perspective on why the CPR video, and let's just talk about that for just a second. Go ahead.
So I was there before the shooting started. I was actually there. As like a regular citizen at that point.
Yeah. So and you weren't there to cover it.
I wasn't there to cover it.
But it was a nice thing for the community.
It was a nice thing for the community. But this is something I just wanted to kind of lay low, because I knew that there was already a warrant for me. So, I'm just kind of laying low, kind of enjoy myself, because I know eventually they're going to come get me. So I'm just going to enjoy myself. Went out with a couple of friends, and we're like, hey, they got a good barbecue going on. So let's, enjoy it. The barbecue was good. It was very peaceful at first. I don't know what transpired. There was a fight with a couple of girls before the shooting started. That was like 10 minutes before the shooting started. They broke it up. And then these guys in the middle started arguing. And that's when the gunshot started going crazy. Mm-hmm. And I was already recording, so I just decided to just keep rolling.
Okay.
And, I'm just seeing people laying on the ground. People are shot. People are injured. And me.
Let me stop you there. The fact that you were recording that stuff,
and you were sort of caught in the chaos.
Yeah.
I don't think, and there's a philosopher named Nietzsche, you can look him up, and I believe Nietzsche, I may have this wrong, said, would you commit the crime, the pain, if you could see the face that you're doing it to? And the reason I bring that up here is that I think many of us who are not in your community hear this noise and go, well, this is what happens. This is what happens. And we don't know what it's like. We just brush it off.
Yeah.
And to see it and to understand it and have human beings who you wish they could have some, as you said, your impulse control or some better way of settling a dispute. Even if it was fists, it's not as deadly. It could be, but it's not as deadly as, right? So I thought that was an important thing for people to see, to go, this isn't just Maplewood Heart, brush it off. Right. This is a scary, sad situation caused by a small percentage of people at that event.
Yeah, I think the reason why I show these things and the reason why I don't really try to censor too much is because I'm tired of the mainstream media covering up what's really happening and censoring what's really happening. So
I agree.
So my goal is to show and to try to show as much as I can without showing too much. You get what I'm saying? Like, or too much where people were like throwing up. But, I want people in the community to understand, in other communities, what my community is going through, what the pain, what the sorrow, what is it like? What does it feel like?
I think that's so important. And I'm not kidding you. I think that's so important because we hear about a shooting, we hear about someone who died, but we're not thinking about the ripple effects of what that death does to a family, to
a community,
to children, to just your general mental health of what should be safety.
Yeah.
Correct? I mean, I really think that's important. Here's where I think you went overboard.
Okay.
Because you serve the community.
Yeah.
And the community came to you and said, please at least edit out our sister, our daughter, our whomever, our loved one getting CPR. And you wouldn't. And I understand the idea of you don't get it unless you see it. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
But if someone from the community that you serve asks you, I think you should have honored that request. I really do. And I do this podcast, and a lot of shit gets talked. And there are people that have not been mentioned, but they knew they were being talked about. Yeah. And nobody listening would know they were being mentioned. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just a general story with anybody. But those people are in real pain when they call.
Yes.
And I will consider, and sometimes I have taken podcasts down. I have edited podcasts. I did things on the radio where I would come back. I would let the person come on and express themselves. I wish in a way you had done that because I think that the fact that you got beat up while there was a direct result of that.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Was that a direct result of showing that, keeping that video up?
Yeah. So the reason the video was blurred, so that's the whole thing about it.
Yeah, but I saw it.
You can't see anything.
I understand, but it's like me saying we never mentioned your name on the podcast.
Yeah,
we're not saying that it's Jane Doe, but the person knows it, and that's what I'm saying is you've caused more pain for people who are already in pain in a community that you don't want to cause the pain, brother.
Hold on. So I don't tend to delete videos. I don't try to edit anything. I don't want to go back and say that's never been my policy, and people know this since I was a kid.
I understand, but sometimes as we get older, and as we can look at things and have a different perspective, and go, I know you're in a lot of pain. I'm going to show the shooting, and I may mention that your loved one passed, but I will take that video out because I don't want to cause you more pain.
So,
by the way, I don't think you should have had your ass kicked over that. To me, that's wrong too.
So look, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm going to sit here and be brutally honest.
Fine.
And I know people in the community may be upset or emotional. I get it because I've lost family members to gun violence in the city of Rochester.
I'm sure you
I've lost cousins.
Right.
So
but
I wouldn't change the perspective if it was my cousin or it was my friend or a community.
Well, hang on a second. Now, wait. Now, stop for a second.
I'm never going to change my reporting.
Stop for just a second.
No matter who it is.
It's your cousin that gets killed, and you happen to be there, and you whip out the camera, and either medical services or someone who knows CPR is pumping, and your aunt comes to you, and she says, "Geoffrey, can you just take that portion of the video out?" She's crying, Geoffrey. We see the real pain. We see the ripple effects. You could have gone the same message, which I believe, and I agree with you without having to put more salt on a pain of a family that I can't. I'm going to say it as directly as I can. I cannot fucking imagine what it would be like to lose my child.
Okay, so look, I understand the sorrow, the pain that everybody's going through. I understand it. I've lived in this community.
I know you do.
I understand it. Without interrupting me, Bill.
Okay.
Listen, the reason why I didn't want to delete it and the reason why I don't delete hundreds of other videos where people are being shot, stabbed, and CPR is being done is because that's true journalism. That is real journalism, and I know people are going to be hurting, and I'm sorry to the people who really are hurting from the gun violence, from the violence in general that is happening in our community, and many communities around the country. I am not going to delete a video. I'm going to try to blur it as much as I can, but I'm not going to delete any video because that's true journalism. If we continue to sensitize things that are happening in our communities, and I see your face. Mm-hmm. If we continue to censor things in our community, we will continue to brush it off, and we will continue to have the same policies and the same things, and it's going to be a ripple effect. If you're seeing it, then you want to make a change. You want to make a change in our community. People will vote different. People will look at these things and say no more, because there's no reason why a 16-year-old should be shot and killed in the driveway, and there's nobody speaking about it.
Right.
But I guarantee you, if I was there, because this was a case that happened right before I was released from prison, there was a 16-year-old young man who was gunned down on Warwick Avenue, and then didn't get the news coverage it got.
No.
And we're going to continue to see these things. So if you show these things that are happening in our community, then people want to make a change. Then people say, no more. We cannot let our young children, cannot let our people.
You're repeating yourself.
I'm just letting you know.
No, I got it.
I'm just saying.
But let me go back to this. And this is where it's a young man versus old man perspective. Because I think you get the message across that you just laid out eloquently. Okay? You laid it out. I think showing the chaos of the shooting, maybe the feet of a person down, maybe someone running over but when a family comes to you, and here's the thing, Geoffrey, is you are not just showing what's happening in the community, you are of the community, you are a representative of the community.
Right.
And if the community asks you from a place of pain and sorrow to take something down, I hope in the future you will sincerely consider it. And I'm not saying soften, because you're going to go, it's journalism. Bullshit. Yeah. It's not. It's exploitative, and that's what it is. And there's a difference. There's a difference, Geoffrey.
Hold on.
There's a difference.
Now, hold on. Here's something I'm going to say, okay? Even after that, after they attacked me, after the backlash happened, I think many people in the community, after I disappeared and went to prison, people started understanding why. Because people understanding why I didn't delete it. People are understanding why. And then people are understanding why they need a GSO News in the community. Because it's been dark in a lot of places where there's no light in there anymore because GSO News is now gone. We're not able to cover anything. It's something that I may consider. But
all I'm saying, Jeff,
have you lost anybody to crime or gun violence or anything like that?
No, I haven't. And I'm being honest with you. But that's not my point. You're not listening. You're not hearing. And I need you to really almost feel the words I'm saying. I agree with your philosophy.
Yes.
I told you a philosopher that says if you could put a face to the pain, would you continue to commit it? If we put a face to the community and we see the violence firsthand, are we going to just brush it off as another shooting in the city? Are we?
I don't believe so. And I think you're right. What I'm saying is you can do that and still honor the community when there's a request made. That's all I'm saying. I get what you're saying, that it's to the, it's true journalism. Yes, I see that. But there's also a point where it borders on exploitative in that I know I'm going to get more views. Can you believe how bad this is? Yes, more people need to see it. And what they need to see is the families that are affected, the ripple effect.
That's what I showed.
And I think there's more people in your community that don't want what's happening, but they're afraid to say anything, right? Because look at what happened just in your saying, I don't want to take this down. And I get it, but it's a young man's, it's a very, it's a perspective that I believe is a young man's perspective. And I think as you get older, you'll say, I can't achieve my goal without having to hurt another, pour salt in a wound. Because that's not what you want to do.
Look, no offense to you, Bill, but this is why there's a lot of young journalists, a lot of young people pushing out the older people. No offense to you, but that's old journalism.
It's not old journalism.
But I feel like it's old. I feel like that's not old journalism, but
it's not old journalism. What you're doing, and it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with old people versus young people. I'm saying a young versus old perspective in that I have lived, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to see more pain for people who are already in pain.
Yeah.
Maybe it's misplaced perspective on them to say, Geoffrey, but they're so upset they're looking at anybody to kind of lash out at. And when you didn't honor their request, you still got your message across, Geoffrey. You still showed what's going on in there. This isn't old versus this is being human being versus being I'm going to be righteous and idealist. I'm going to be righteous and idealist. And your righteous and idealist, well, I believe in the long run could hurt you. And by the way, it physically did.
Well, I get what you're saying, and I'm taking in. I've been hearing this for almost 2 years now. I've been hearing this.
Sure. And I'm not, and look, I know you want to turn around and say to me, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't walked my streets. No, I know what I hear you. I see that shit. I know you're one shade, I'm another. I don't know your community, but I know human beings, and I don't want to see somebody in more pain. Yeah. I'm telling you, Geoffrey, and this is something you can't relate to.
I understand, but look.
No, hang on. You can't relate to what it would be like for the mother or father of that young lady, and to just not want to have to see that, or have people come and talk to them about seeing that. They want this person to be remembered as whatever she was, a wonderful cook, an amazing mom herself. I don't know, but something that's more positive. Showing that stuff is smart, but keeping some boundaries on it is intelligent. They're smart and intelligent, Geoffrey.
I get what you're saying. I understand it, and I agree with some parts, but other parts I'm just going to have to highly disagree.
Okay, that's okay.
And that's just, that's just my.
You'll come around to the way I think.
That's my journalism. I may come around, but I may not. But I feel like, I'm going to try to blur out as much as I can.
Okay.
And,
I think what you do is,
and I'm going to highlight, and I'm also, if a victim dies, I try to highlight what their life was before they, passed away. Or, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, I'm going to continue to do what I do. I don't think I'm going to change my policies too much after. Even after that, I'm not going to change my policies.
All I would say is consider it, because you're not just showing the community. To me, you are a leader of the community. Mm-hmm. You're somebody that people, when they feel like they're not being heard, they probably turn to you. They probably
reach out,
call you and say, Geoffrey, can you help me with this? Can you spotlight this?
Yeah.
That's amazing, right? Mm-hmm. That's really, honestly incredible. All I'm saying to you is, just have a little bit more humanity in it.
Yeah.
You can still get the message across, just a little more humanity. That's all.
And I understand that. But like I said, my policies will not change.
Okay.
And I get it. And I see you're frustrated just a little bit.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying to you, all I'm saying is try to understand. I know what your policies are.
Yeah.
I got it. But you want to put your stick in the I know what you're doing. I got it. I know.
What am I doing?
You're a young guy. You want to tell the old people, "Fuck you! I'm going to do it my way." You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not saying that.
That is what you're thinking.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'll put it in a different vernacular.
No.
You'll be kinder when you say it, but that is your thinking.
No, I'm not saying that. I understand what the people are saying in the community. I understand they're frustrated. I understand they don't want to see that. I understand it. but I want them to also understand it from my view.
Yes.
My point of view.
I think your point of view is fine.
Because if we continue to sensitize it.
I got it. I'm saying, you're right.
Like I said before.
We sanitize it and we make it and we don't handle it, right? We sanitize it. I'm not saying sanitize it. I'm saying when someone from your community comes to you, listen to them and try to consider the pain they're in and maybe be a little more human. Because there was nothing that would change in that video if you just edited that portion out. It really wouldn't. You still would show this is fucked up and these are great people for a great cause, and it's a small percentage that caused problems here today that caused terrible ripple effects.
What about when, CNN or Fox News or ABC, which I have seen, people heads being blown off. People are being blown up. Well, just the other day or a few months ago, I seen them showing it.
Buddy, I'm not telling you not to show this stuff. I'm saying to you, when the family comes to you in your community, on the streets you walk, it's different.
Well, here's what I say.
It's different.
Here's what I say.
It's different.
If the community is upset for me showing the truth, or if the community is... No, don't interrupt me. Hold on.
You're not making sense, buddy.
If the community
it's not
is
the
upset,
community, Geoffrey. This is a specific family saying, get that piece of the video out. Yeah. That's a human request to another human being. That's not the fucking community, Geoffrey. You're still showing what's going on in the community.
Okay, look.
Do you understand?
It's something that... okay, how about this? To settle it, it's something I may...
You're not going to consider it. It's fine.
It's something I may...
Fine.
No, what?
I like your safety. I would like to see your safety.
Oh, if they gun me down, then that's what it would be.
Okay, no. It shouldn't be. Why do you need to be another statistic? Why does that have to be?
Well, I don't want it. God forbid it happens, but, I'm a diehard for what I do. And people know this.
I get the diehard part. And you're not hearing what I'm saying is, yes, I understand. Had the family not said anything to you about the CPR being done, then leave it in. I agree with you. Even if other community members are a little bit outraged. But when it's the direct relative, the blood of the blood that's on the ground, coming to you and asking that, all I'm saying to you is, please be a little human, because this isn't CNN, Geoffrey. Yeah. It's not showing people on the other side of the world getting blown up to let you get a perspective of what's happening over there, which is also important, and what you're trying to do for community. Right. This is you walking the streets, trying to show the lives of the people that are not highlighted and should be, and showing a perspective on the violence. What are your fans saying? Because I know they're probably ripping on me.
Well, a couple of them are. Some of them are on your side. Some of them are on my side. There's always going to be a 50-50. But to say this, let me say this. It's something I may consider, coming into the future. I think the policy of GSO News will not change. Okay. It's not going to change.
I'm not saying don't take it. All I'm saying is if a family member comes.
Yes. It's something I may consider.
Be a human being.
And it's something I have considered before.
Okay.
It's something I have considered before.
Okay. Because we've come to an agreement.
Right. I have considered some things. So... what I want people to understand is I just want the community to really wake up. That's it. I want the community to wake up and understand why I'm showing these things, or why I'm trying to show these things. Because I think it's very important for us, and it's very emotional. I think it's very important for us
But you can't be doing dumb shit that gets you locked up. Do you understand?
Yeah. No, my legal troubles are done. I'm done now.
Okay, your legal troubles are done. But again, the whole idea that you've been on probation. No, hang on. Well, you've been on, like, if you were my kid,
go ahead.
I'd be pissed off at you.
Yeah.
Because you kept walking around with different things on your body, and I understand why. Yeah. I got it. Believe me, I understand. But every time you were getting tagged for it. Right?
Right, because they didn't want me to carry the tasers.
Right. And they didn't want that. I understand why you did it. I'm not saying you're even
carry
wrong.
That. You can't.
But it's illegal, right?
It's not illegal. You can't carry it while you're on probation.
Okay. But you've been on probation. So you know what you got. So now you're getting tagged for these things. And sometimes you're getting some judges who are trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And then it just happens over and over and over. And I know there was one judge who just goes, okay, Geoffrey, you have my hands tied at this point. Am I wrong?
Well, no, that's a bit different perspective. I think there was a whole back behind the scenes backdoor things that are going on. Like I said, I just got done covering the DA.
Yeah.
And then I was also investigating other court cases for misconduct.
What were you? So you covering the DA over her rant
chase,
about going home?
Her chase, and then I was also covering a lot of other news stories for misconduct when involving murder cases and stuff like that.
Here's the thing.
That comes all behind that.
Yeah,
no, you could say, well, Judge John Randall had his hands tied, but this is also the same judge who released the Boys and Girls mass shooter or suspect.
But buddy, I get it, and I hear you. But you had a list, they didn't. You've got probation, they didn't.
So now you're trying to compare me to a murderer?
No, I'm not.
A potential
I'm just
murderer?
saying that when it comes down to the law, justice is blind, right? Right or wrong? Well, we're all going to say in reality it's not.
Right.
But in perspective, what are we shown? Lady Justice is blind. So you
think it's okay to say...
I don't think it's okay.
You think it's okay?
No.
So look,
Jeffrey,
regardless,
you're going to try to twist this shit?
No, I'm not.
And you're not.
No.
We're talking about you. We're not talking about these other people.
Right. They didn't want me carrying the pocket knives and tasers.
Yeah.
That's something I continue to do for my safety.
Okay.
So if they believe, okay, well, Geoffrey, you can't carry the pocket knives and taser, I said, screw you, because if something happens to me out here.
I agree.
And look, the first time when they did take my vest and on my taser and all that, now I'm attacked by 30 people in a park without my weapons and stuff. So look how that played out. I could have been able to defend myself. So I keep proving people wrong.
No, you don't.
I proved you wrong in that point.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't, Geoffrey, because you put yourself in a situation.
Well, I was invited. Really? For people who also said, oh, we told him not to come to the balloon release. Yeah. That was false news.
All right, buddy, look, I don't know. People are going to say things. What I'm going to say to you is, these are people who are really upset, and they got you, right? They were upset. It was almost like a payback. And was it right? I don't think so. Was it misplaced anger? I'm going to say that's what it was. It was somebody who wanted to just feel like fuck something, right?
Yeah.
Our loved ones killed. Who do we go to? Who's out there?
Yeah.
And then they ask, and I'm assuming it was kindly.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it. That's the only thing I'm saying.
So let me be honest.
But,
let me be honest though.
Stop reading your notes. Keep going. Wait. Keep talking.
So here's what I'm going to say.
Keep your attention over here, not on your people right now.
Here's what I'm going to say. I understand there was a lot of frustration. There's a lot of frustration in the community that, is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Sad situation that happened. And there's going to continue to be sad situations that happen that I
So it would have made it better if you could have tased somebody's ass there and then someone who knows?
Well, no, I'm not saying it would have been better, but I guarantee you 30 people wouldn't have tried me if they seen all that equipment on them, because now people are going to think, oh, well, maybe I don't want to get...
Okay.
So, it was a very sad situation for the shooting to happen.
Yes.
Very crazy and chaotic when I was attacked.
Yes.
I think me being attacked kind of opened my eyes. It opened my eyes and made me aware of everything. It made me aware of who I really am in this community too. So, you
don't want to be an enemy of your own community.
I'm not saying that. I know I'm not an enemy of my community. I know there's going to be people in this community who don't like me. There's people in the community.
You've had people come over and kick your ass for other things.
Because
it was all on fucking video.
Yes, because
the guy put you through a wall.
Yes, he did. We don't get me started in that situation.
I'm just saying to you, Geoffrey, when are you gonna? You're a bright.
Well, maybe the
guy.
community just doesn't need a GSO News anymore.
Yes, it does.
Because that's something I've been thinking about. Because maybe the community maybe they just want me to be done, and maybe I can just finish and go to college for marketing and just be done with journalism.
Well, it's up to you.
That's what people really want to see. But I'm not going anywhere.
All right. I don't think that's what people really want to see. I think they want to see a little more humanity and love of the community. And that's why I'm saying show the stuff that the mainstream media isn't showing.
Yeah.
I get your idealism. Dude, I love the passion. I mean that sincerely. But let's go back. You're in the hospital. They arrest you.
Yes.
So you're all banged up and they put you in jail.
Yeah.
Are you in Monroe County?
So I was in Monroe County jail for about 2 days.
And then where'd you go?
And then they moved me to Livingston County for protective custody because they said, it was an unsafe environment after everything would have happened in my journalism. So they just decided to move me to a whole new county jail where they majority keep federal inmates from the surrounding counties. And so that was okay. That was okay until I moved up to prison. And then where the protective custody wasn't no longer, in effect anymore. So I was in Elmira for a month, and then I went to Green Correctional Facility.
Greene County, down by Albany. Yeah.
Yep. So then I went to Green Correctional Facility where I was there for not even a full 3 days, and gang members actually sliced me in the face because I got on the phone and I wasn't following the gang policies or the rules that they make up, basically saying that the gang members run the phone. So I was trying to call my family, let them know where I was at, and they disagreed. And unfortunately I got sliced in the face. After I got sliced in the face, I was then moved to Albany Medical Center where they did stitch me up and everything else. And then I stayed there for about a day. Then they moved me to Walkill Correctional Facility where I then finished. But I did majority of my time there at Walkill Correctional Facility. That's near New York City.
I know where Walkill is.
Yep.
It's actually on the other side of the Hudson from where I grew up, and I used to be on the radio in that whole area many years ago.
So they moved me there where I did almost a year there. Then they moved me to in between also.
How long were you in for?
16 months, about 15, 16 months. But then in January, I was actually last January. I actually got my sentence reduced because I didn't have an illegal sentence. So they had to lower my time because originally they gave me 2 years. And then they also said, let me just put this out there. The judge also said if I continue to fight the case, like if I go to trial with it, then he'll give me 3 to 7 years. That's another crazy thing to say. But so then they end up giving me a 2 to 4, which then actually got lowered down in January. So I actually had to bring me back to Rochester, New York, from Walkill Correctional Facility, where I was in Groveland for almost a month. Then went back to Walkill, and then for my last 2.5 months, I went to Orleans Correctional Facility, where then I spent the rest of my time in the box. So they actually moved me to the box where I spent.
You were in isolation?
Yep. 24 hours a day, you're locked in a cube.
Why? Why would they put you there?
So they actually put me in the box because of, I originally was supposed to go to work release. So work release, because there was a strike going on in prison. Yeah. So it kind of pushed everybody back. So originally I was supposed to get work release in like June, but the strike kind of put everything back. So they moved me there pretty late, and then I went to the work release dorm unit. There were some issues that I had with a counselor there, and she basically, like, she saw my face and she was like, yeah, I know you. I know you're not going anywhere. So she didn't want me to do the work release because I guess she knows me from the community, my news reporting, and try to say, well, I'm driving around in a fake cop car, which is not the case. And so there were some disagreements. I then got kicked out of work release, and then they were going to throw me in general population. Orleans is closer to Rochester, so there's a lot more people who trying to threaten me, stab me, whatever the case may be. So I was getting quite a bit of threats there, and I almost got into an altercation. So at that point, then they put me in a box, and they was like, "You're going to stay here until you go home."
Okay, so all that happening, has to be scary as hell.
Yeah, and
that's a lot of movement. They had you move a lot,
quite a bit. And just going through multiple prisons. Sometimes we had to stay overnight at a max facility to just even get to some of these facilities, and just be shackled. Mind you, you're shackled for hours. The long prison bus rides, you're shackled for hours. Yeah. I mean, you're almost shackled for almost like 12 hours. You're shackled at sometimes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at most times, just shackled. Yeah. So all that was traumatizing. And then I got a black eye from correction officers. They ended up beating me up because they thought I was stealing or thought I had bread in my pocket, which you're not allowed to bring bread out of certain mess halls in certain correctional facilities. So they ended up jumping on me, kicking me, and spitting on me. The correction officers. This is right before the body cameras actually went full effect in all correctional facilities. And then to be in there when the Robert Brooks situation happened, that was kind of like, my mom told me about the Robert Brooks situation before it had made news. And then she was like, are you okay? I'm like, what's going on? She said, Mr. Ricks, which I call him because he actually, the dad of the son who was murdered, I actually knew him because I was in a program of his. She's like, Mr. Rick's son was murdered. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Then it makes news. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit because, he was from my city. So, just to see that going on, and to just see the change happening. And then right after that, majority of correction officers decided to walk out, and then they went on strike, which kind of made it a very harsh environment because now we're locked down almost for a month. We're locked down. We can't go to the mess hall. We're just stuck in the unit. So, that just made it very frustrating, and just everything in between, watching people die. A guy actually committed suicide, and we had watched them get carried out and medical examiner vans and people overdosing in there. I mean, it's a very harsh environment to get through. But, at the same time, I've seen a lot of men who was graduating college, getting their GEDs. At one point, they made me a tutor in there because, I was a little educated. So I was helping people trying to get their GEDs and educate them.
How did that feel?
That felt good.
Yeah.
That felt really good because, there was one young man that I was close to. He was older than me, but I'm going to call him a young man. One young man that I was actually close to, and I was helping him get his GED. He actually graduated and got his GED. So that made me happy that I was actually helped this young man get his GED.
Right.
So
why can't you teach and run GSL News?
Well, I'm not a teacher. That was just something I was just doing.
No, I understand, but why can't you take that passion, that feeling of helping
I always want to. I always wanted to make my own program and stuff, but it's the lack of funding, the lack of support.
That, but I'm even saying for you personally, there's scholarships and things that go unclaimed. You'd have to look, but you're a researcher. You do this. You dig. You're You're a bright guy. Go get something, and then even if you're just opening up, the GSL News Tutor Center, helping kids. I don't know, but you've got a lot of good in you. I'll ask you this: that sounds horrible, and I'm
what
sorry.
Sounds horrible?
Your whole prison thing.
Oh yeah.
Sounds horrible. I can't imagine just mentally what that is like.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not here saying that it seems harsh for the things that happened to me, but you were given many chances along the way.
Yeah.
You really were, right? And so it comes down to this, and it's horrible. What did you learn during that time? Is there anything you walked away with and learned?
The things that I've learned, things that I learned in prison is a more self-control for sure, because there were situations where I really had to control myself because it's I knew, you're arguing with a guy who did 30 years.
Yeah.
And he could snap.
Yeah.
So, and they don't care. Lifers really don't care. I've seen lifers and stab other, inmates in there. So it's
what else are you going to do to me?
Right. So I already got life. What else?
There's nothing more dangerous than a man that has nothing to lose.
That's right. So, I really had to control myself. And I feel like I matured in there. I really matured because there's a lot of things that I was looking at, a lot of grown men who were also acting like kids, because mind you, a lot of them have been incarcerated since they were 17, 16 years old and 18 years old. And this is it. That's all they know. So I was seeing a lot of men who were acting like kids and trying to just let them know your behavior in society is just not going to be accepted.
Man, I'd be keeping my head down and shut my mouth.
Honestly, I wasn't.
I got that.
I was, sometimes there was other guys that was close to me that was yo, relax. They called me by my last name, Roger. So they was yo, Roger, just relax. I used to snap. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I used to snap a lot. And I didn't care. I got into a couple of scuffles, and because I was a voice. I was a voice in the facility that I was in, my facility that I did majority of my time in. And a lot of people came to me for a lot of help, a lot of advice. There was a lot of advice that I was taking from guys who did some hard time, and they were giving me some good advice. Man, if I was your age and had the knowledge that you have, I would really do something with my life. And so that kind of woke me up. I got to go home and I got to do it right this time. And that's my whole goal, is to do it right. When I was sitting, in my cell at nighttime, a lot of dark, lonely nights of just depression.
I can't imagine. And it's you and your thoughts, right?
And it's just you and your
isolation.
thoughts. So there was a lot of depression. There was a lot of anxiety. At one point I just thought this might be it for me. This at one point I thought about doing something very serious in prison. I might catch another charge in prison. I might have to really stab somebody or hurt somebody for my own protection. Mm-hmm. And so, just having all those things go on is it's a lot going on through your mind. But towards, after the summer was kind of winding down, I then started focusing on more because I'm I'm going home pretty soon. So I started doing a lot of reading and writing. Most of my time I was doing a lot of reading and writing, but I really was reading and writing at full blown at the end, my last few months, just doing research on how can I do it right. Because I was listening to people, who had podcasts, who had news organizations, who were doing it big and actually making a good impact on themselves and in the community. So, I was like, I really gotta get my foot in the mud when I get there. So immediately, like the second day I was home, I was in meetings, I was on the phone, I was getting booked, I was trying to find sponsors, and I'm not playing around. This time I'm doing it right. My legal troubles are behind me now, and I'm really just trying to move forward on what's next.
I think that's amazing and wonderful, and ugly road to have to go, but every path has you're there to learn.
Right.
They're teaching you lessons and things. And I hope it all comes together for you. I don't know with some of this stuff. Like I don't know what it's like in prison. It sounds horrible to me. And
it was,
maybe it gave you a perspective of things that you got to see, maybe more injustice, and had your eyes open to things that nobody can really relate to, but people who can, and you've been there.
Yeah. I can't believe I went through that. I can't believe that, you just see a lot of the stuff on movies and TVs, but like the stuff that I thought was fake in prison is really real. Like
what?
Like people like getting sexually assaulted, people getting stabbed, people overdosing, people killing themselves, correction officers, getting down with the correction officers even being with it. Some of them bringing the drugs in or helping with the drugs, and just a lot of crazy stuff that I just was like, I cannot believe this is stuff that's actually happening. And at one point, they try to silence you, even in prison. There was a situation that happened to me, and the person in charge of the prison kept ignoring my letters and kept brushing me off, and so it's really difficult to get some type of support in there now. And let alone they're closing all the prisons, not all the prisons, but they're closing a lot of prisons. So now you're putting people on top of each other who literally are, you're putting soft crime on top of hard crime. So when you're out there, you're now a person who done committed grand larceny, who stole a phone or something, or stole a couple of TVs, is now with a murderer who done.
No, buddy, I get that. And that's why, I believe the law that has let a lot of people out. Right? Because justice, you got to go by the letter of the law. The idea that somebody who committed a crime like you shouldn't be in jail, right? Should be able to get to work, keep their family going and all that, because what they did was really inconsequential. It didn't really impact anybody. It was stealing from Walmart. They write a lot of that off. They build it into their budget that they're, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a restaurant, you put in breakage for plates and things like that. It's just how a well-run business does it. So, but the problem was you had all this other prior stuff.
Yeah.
And you're an idealist young man. And I get it. Believe me, you and I are very similar. I once on the radio thanked an officer for not showing up to a traffic court thing, whatever. I had so many tickets, it was going to cost me like $400. And I really think that officer was like, if the kid's going to go to court, I'm not going to show up. And then it got dismissed because I challenged it, right? I went on the radio on a 50,000 watt radio station in Poughkeepsie, New York that reached Wallkill. Yeah. And I thanked this officer by name for not showing up and saving me money. Dude, it was one of the dumbest things I ever did. I got pulled over with shit they made up I didn't even have. I didn't even know you could get tickets for on your car. I mean, it was fucking outrageous. And this went on for months and months, and it cost me way more than $400. Yeah. But I learned my lesson that when someone does a gift for you, just keep your mouth shut and move forward. And I'm saying to you, go back to the community. You are I believe, and I'll say it, and I have gotten things, people send me stuff about you all the hey, look at who's out. He's a joke. He's this, he's that. Yeah. I don't agree with that. Yeah. I think you have, and I'm going to say this. I'll put it this way. I don't know what your listeners will think of this. I believe you have the potential to be an amazing asset to our overall community and specifically the city itself. Yeah. But potential is one of the most deadly words in the English language. And I say that way because
you'll be like,
you may not reach it. You may just give up on it. You may do something dumb again. You just can't do that. You could be such an asset. You're bright. You're well-spoken. You got the passion. You got a fire in that belly. I see it. You want to push back again. It was wonderful. I love that you pushed back against me here and said, I don't agree with you. This is old, whatever. We don't have to agree. Yeah. But I will say, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I think what you do is good.
And I think
you got a little jacked up in prison. It looks like you lifted some weights. Do you lift some weights?
Yeah,
you lift some weights. Look at these arms.
I was lifting.
Now look, I got a kid who can bench over 300 pounds. So you ain't there yet.
Well, I'm not. I don't think I'm ever.
He's 20. How old are you?
I'll be 24 next Monday.
Okay, he's 23.
I'm not lifting. Trust and believe.
But you look good.
He's got to be tall.
No, he's like 5. He's not. I have one that's 6'7".
Yeah.
He's the middle guy. My youngest son is 15.
I'm not doing 300. I'll tell you that.
No, but I'm not either, Geoffrey. I never did. 200 was the max I did.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the max I ever did. But this kid, he just put up the other day. I sat on the bench at the gym I go to. I accidentally hit something on my phone because I was going to put it down next to me. It opens Instagram. The first video that pops up is my son benching 275 pounds, 4 sets of 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just wrote, I think I need to go home because I ain't there. But he's about your age.
Yeah. They there was a lot of guys, and I was in the prison yard, and I was looking at all these, because I'm hanging around a lot of people who are jacked up, I'm like one of the littlest ones there. So it's like I just seen guys and it was like, I got to do something with myself. And plus, people kept trying me. The people like, hey, you gotta toughen up a little bit. You gotta toughen up. So, I was starting hitting the yard, and, I was working out with big dudes. So they was like, yo, if you don't lift this weight up, we're gonna drop it on you. So like, you really gotta really push.
Yeah.
Because they're not babying you in this yard. No. These are a bunch of grown men.
Yeah.
So I'm pushing, and every day they would come to my cell like, yo, let's go. They just called yard. Let's go. So, just out there all summer long, and sometimes when it was snowing, just getting out there and just working out. So that was kind of like. I was taking all my anger out and all my pain on the weights.
It's great for your mental health, I think.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope you continue to do that. I hope that you continue to do GSL News. I hope that you stick to your ideals. I hope you consider some things.
GSL News is coming back February 4th.
Yeah.
So hopefully, the film crew, we're going to film a commercial. We're coming back February 4th. It's going to be big.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere this time. I'm glad that everything is behind me.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm glad that everything is behind me now, where I can honestly just move forward and just do me now.
You did shit that nobody else can relate to other than a few.
Yeah.
Right. And I would think for you, nothing should scare you anymore. But I hope, if anything, you see the soul of humanity through all that you've gone through.
Yeah.
Because I think in prison people aren't very well treated.
No.
And I don't know, but I hope that gives you perspective when a family. I'm not saying don't show the family. That's all I say. I'll leave it there. I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I don't want to upset you.
No, I mean, look. I understand what people are saying.
I think and I do well.
And I love listening to people's opinions, because sometimes when people have opinions, I do make change. And so, there's a lot of change that has happened to my company, and there's a lot of change that is coming.
Yeah.
But a lot of my policies will not be changing, but the overall decision making, and things that I do report on and things I do show will change slightly.
Yeah. Let me say something to you that I say to my sons, that when people give you advice and they tell you things like, I wouldn't do that, they're not telling you to shit on your dream, although it feels that way.
Yeah.
They're telling you that out of their concern and love or personal experience.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's your experience. Doesn't mean it's going to go that way for you.
Yeah.
You can let it. I would always say you have to follow your gut. If your gut, Geoffrey, tells you something with your organization, then go with it. It's your intuition. Doesn't mean everybody else is right. And we don't have to basically give the middle finger to the establishment, so to speak. We can just give I hear you, and go and do what I'm going to do anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that you have again, the greatest potential. I could see you as a leader in the community, elected leader. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't think I'll run for politics though.
No, I get that, but I mean, I understand, but I still think that you got.
I ran for mayor at one point. I ran for mayor. That was kind of like just a test.
Yeah,
it didn't go my way. But
well, you were young.
So, but now it's like I'd rather be a voice than a political leader. I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be a mayor or anything like that. But I'd rather be a voice and just guide other people and show people.
Yep,
nothing
this is the way we
is
do.
Impossible.
All right, I had a heart out here, so I got to go. And my man, he kept me late, but running late. But for you,
keep calling me out.
For you, Geoffrey, I would do that. Much love, sincerely, and I think
I thank you for reaching, because I was going through some of my old voicemails, after that day happened when they arrested me, and you had left a good voicemail, so I appreciate you for just reaching out and everything.
I don't think bad things, and I would never wish anybody bad. People can think what they want of me, what other people's opinion of you. Remember this too is none of your business. It's not, and you just.
Well, I don't. Most times I don't really be caring what people say.
Good, and that's okay. But I also, when I see someone that I know and going through a tough time or something, I don't wish you ill. I'm not cheering on. I'm not cheering that on. I'm not. We may not agree on certain things, but I'm not cheering that on. All right, for Geoffrey Rogers, who will probably, I'm sure he was videoing in here. I don't know where it'll go or if it's already up or whatever it is.
And look me up on everything. GSO News and GSOnews.com.
Okay. And if you want to support, go there as well.
Yes,
right?
you can.
All right. For Geoffrey Rogers, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you next time.
I woke up in a hotel, didn't know what to do. I turned the TV on, wrote a letter to you. The news was talking about a day.